Dua Lipa, Love Again. It's Hot 101.5, and we are live on the Miguel and Holly and the Hot 101.5 Facebook page for radio blogs.
Hot 101.5.
These are the radio blogs of Miguel Fuller and Holly O'Connor.
Because it's so much easier to just say them out loud than it is to type them.
Dear blog, I saw something on Instagram this morning that just took me back to 4 years ago.
Oh.
I have a friend of mine that is a magazine editor that lives in New Orleans, and her Insta story came up this morning, and she was able to safely get away because, you know, if you don't know, Hurricane Ida went through yesterday. And so she was able to get out of town. She was fortunate enough to be able to go to Mobile. So she's safe in a hotel, but she shared an Insta story of one of her neighbors that is a photojournalist for the New York Times. And so I started watching that person's Insta story, and it just took me back to all the emotions that we went through with Irma. And here's just a little bit of some of her Insta story.
If you're watching this from afar, there's going to be a lot of relief organizations. Please watch what I post. Keep in touch with other people from New Orleans. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this.
And it just reminded me of when we were dealing with Irma, and Holly, you went to Atlanta. I went to Panama City, and I just remembered that just dread, that adrenaline that we had for 3 or 4 days leading up. And then when it was going through our area, it was like you just didn't know. And it was just like you were scared for your friends and for the people that you couldn't get into contact with.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart seeing that they have to go through that again.
I know.
And just so relatable to what we went through. And so our hearts and prayers are going out to, if you have family that lives in New Orleans. So her name is Emily Kask. And like I said, she's a photographer for the New York Times. And she said, because she's right there, boots on the ground, that places like the Cajun Navy Relief Fund, they're actually there helping to get to people.
Okay.
Because she posted tweets of like just heartbreaking messages of people saying, I got 7% left on my battery. I'm on the roof with my grandma. Please send someone to help. And that could easily just be us living where we live. So I'm going to post some of these resources that she has on the Miguel and Holly Insta story. But if you're driving, you want to like get to it now. It's the Cajun Navy Relief. Like I said, I did not vet this out, but she is a journalist, and she said that right now in this moment might be the best is helping with money and them able to get to people and get to resources. And I'm sure this is going to be a long journey for them, you know, and resources that they need. But right now, the Cajun Navy Relief is the best way to help. And I'll post it on the Miguel and Holly Insta story.
And at 7, we'll have a little more update on just stats about what's going on there this morning. So
absolutely.
Little heads up on that. Dear blog, this weekend, I feel like I learned something finally. And that something was how football works. Like,
what do you mean?
I know. I almost didn't want to say this because I'm like, do you admit that you finally figured out how this game works? Like okay, let me just give you my history with football. I was in the high school band. I went to every single football game in high school.
For 4 years, you were there.
4 years. I have no idea what is happening on the field. Like, I understand touchdowns.
Oh, right.
Good. Clearly.
Even
like,
I got that.
I'm not stupid. So just hold on. Like, I understand what we're trying to do. I understand, 6 points and then, 1, or sometimes there's 2. Like, I understand the very, very basics of the game.
Yes.
So I can tell by when I watch it, like, generally what's going on. But this weekend, my person and I watched the preseason Bucks game, and I was ready to just tune out like I normally do and just like glance up every now and then if there's like a lot of cheering and go, ah. And so it started, and this kind of started on accident because like the game first started off not so good, and then it got real good. And when something was happening, I always get embarrassed to ask, but I was like, what is happening right now?
Right.
Like,
how do we do this?
What is this? And why is that guy angry? And why are we over there? Like, and so my person was very patient and talked me through how some of the things work. You know what I learned about?
Oh, go ahead.
A safety, not the position, the thing on the field where they play.
Oh, their helmets?
No.
That's what keeps them safe?
No, that's not a thing. That a touchback I was like, what is that?
I've never heard of a touchback.
I've
dear.
heard. I've
Are they
heard of these
massaging
things.
each other's backs?
No.
They're not. I finally understand, and this is the first time in my life because I've had this explained to me multiple times. The system of the down, like the down system, like
System of a Down, the band?
no, like how
Everybody.
what it means, like when there's a second and seventh or whatever.
Yes.
I finally.
Oh, yay.
Oh, you
And
mean
then-
Second and Second, the restaurant downtown St. Pete?
Oh, I didn't have that yesterday. But
Oh, yummy. No, but like and then eventually he started doing that thing that you do with children, and he's like, okay, so now that they went, like, what is
happens
it?
next?
What is it? Do you think? And I'm like, third and fifth.
Spirit finger.
But I got it.
You got
And
it,
look at
yeah.
you.
I felt like finally I can at least, and I was able to watch the whole game and like have a way better understanding of like why they were doing what they were doing when they were doing it.
It's
But
more enjoyable that way.
I'm like, thank you, because I'm asking really insane questions. I'm like, but okay, so he explained a whole safety thing. I'm like, but why is it called that? And he's like, why does it matter? And I'm like, I want to know. And then he's laughing. He's like, okay, now you know who you're going to be at football game parties. You're going to be the person who's like, did you know in 1903
They decided to name
Charlie
it
safety? And I'm like, yes, that's what I want to know. So I got it.
I can tell you about I was safety patrol in elementary
Not
school.
the
I had my
same
orange
thing.
sash on.
I think it's a
little different here.
A little different.
There's no sashes.
All right, it's 6:46. Hollywood is hot and trending in Tampa Bay.
All right. So, like I mentioned, we are going to talk about Hurricane Ida and what all is happening and what the details were that all happened yesterday in New Orleans. And we'll do that at 7.
And right after that, though, we want to get you the hot essential hookups, Apple AirPods, shoes, a Levi's shopping spree. That happens a little after 7. But first, we've stolen this from celebrities, the photo dump.
Mhm.
Random pictures from our weekend, and we will get to that next on Hot 101.5. Right now, it is Doja Cat and SZA, Kiss Me More.
You know what? It looks like.
Oh, yeah, you sure can't tell.
No.
You sure can't tell.
You sure not can't tell.
Can't tell that, sure.
Say nothing.
Can't see nothing, call the law. She got on white pink.
No, it's still white.
Yeah, you can't tell. Yeah, in person you can, but yeah, not on the screen.
It's nice light.
That's okay.
It's fine.